Embrace Your Employees, An Inoculation Against Rigid Management, author Jack Mitchell. Subtitles by Free Book Summary. Introduction. Over the course of a lifetime, we spend tens of thousands of hours at work. At the same time, most people perceive work as a necessary evil. They need to feed their families, pay bills, and earn a pension. At work, people are in a constant state of tension. If you make a mistake, you will be fired. If you show weakness, someone will take advantage of it. Only rare lucky people go to work with pleasure. The 21st century is the century of indifference. Helping your neighbor, participation, and sympathy are rare. Colleagues try to work at a minimum. The boss does not care about the feelings and desires of subordinates. He needs only a specific result by a certain date. The seller in the store is not in a hurry to help. A teacher demands ideal behavior from children, but is not interested in their inner world and the situation in the family. And no professional development courses, formal team building events, or complicated bonus system will fix the situation, because the fish rots from the head. If the management of the company does not demonstrate openness, does not provide support, and is not interested in the inner world of employees, these employees will not be positive, open, and productive, and at the first opportunity, they will leave for another company where they may feel more comfortable. Jack Mitchell, owner of a family-owned chain of clothing stores, along with his family, has created a unique corporate culture, a culture of embrace. It is based on the fact that every person wants to be appreciated. Therefore, every Jack Mitchell employee receives a hug portion at work. These hugs come in real and metaphorical forms. They are various positive actions and signs of attention. Hugs make people feel that their coworkers care about them. With this attitude, people work with pleasure and show wonders of productivity and loyalty. They hug each other and customers return to them again and again because it feels so good to be hugged. Jack Mitchell hand signs each employee's birthday card. He admits that even though it's time-consuming, he enjoys hugging his coworkers. And that's just one of the many ways Jack and his family members use to hug their employees. Hug culture. A hugging culture is built on 5 principles. They are courtesy, trust, pride, engagement, and acceptance. When a manager implements a culture, policy, or procedure, it must start with themselves. If a boss is polite to and trusts his colleagues, knows how to evoke pride in what they do, and engages them as much as possible and demonstrates appreciation and gratitude for their work, he is building a strong team of loyal and productive employees. Courtesy. For employees to be positive and motivated, they need to be assured that they will be spoken to politely and calmly in every situation, and they themselves must be extremely polite with colleagues, subordinates, customers, and other people with whom they have to deal. The concept of politeness includes various aspects: willingness to help, openness, a friendly smile, empathy, and the ability not to pressure a person, even if you need to make a quick decision in a difficult situation. Here are a few rules to help create a culture of politeness. Hire people who are polite. Undoubtedly, it is very important for a person to be educated, confident, experienced, and willing to learn and improve. However, experience is an acquired thing. The desire to develop peers of colleagues are constantly learning, and it is almost impossible to bring up politeness in an adult. Politeness is brought up in the family. From the very beginning, behave with the new employee as if you are going to work with him together for many years. Usually, employers try to protect themselves and establish a probationary period. However, during this period, the new team member will not work with full commitment, but will act with caution, fearing dismissal. The sooner an employee feels they are at home and welcome, the sooner they will settle in and become effective. Show that you notice and appreciate a new employee's successes with a small bonus. Embrace outsourcers and freelancers in the same way you embrace insiders. Some employees don't work for you on a full-time basis. Janitors are sent by a cleaning company and security guards are sent by a security agency. But these people also contribute to the success of your business. Hug everyone you have to work with. It's easy to find out when a security guard or courier employee's birthday is, so you can give them a souvenir or have a tea party at lunchtime. You hug people and they hug you back. The courier delivers packages on time, and the security guard is responsible for the entrance and welcomes visitors with a smile. You need to know the names of 100 to 200 of your employees and be aware of their life priorities and interests. These people are those to whom you report, those who report to you, and key employees who work in related departments, in partner companies, and on whom the success of your work depends to a greater or lesser extent. Stay in touch. Sincerely embrace your employees in a variety of ways. Take into account their tastes and preferences. Smile. Say thank you. Ask about children's progress, and give small gifts. Enjoy your work. It's a myth that you have to be serious at work. Try to make your employees smile and enjoy themselves more often. Think of work as a fun game, and during breaks, play poker or word games. Remember, not all hugs are pleasant and appropriate. Try to remember not only people's preferences, but also what they do not like or do not fit. You shouldn't give wine to a person who has had a drinking problem, or treat a diabetic to a candy. If you do something wrong, apologize, smile and hug the person again. Maintain connections. Something is constantly happening in the life of every team member. Try to be aware of these changes. At the beginning of the meeting, ask your coworkers to say a few words about what's new in their lives since the last meeting. However, do not insist if a coworker chooses to remain silent. Sincerely rejoice in positive news and express sympathy and support for those who are having difficulties. Trust. Trust is the most important principle of corporate culture. Studies have shown that the most successful sports teams are those where the players trust the coach and each other, and the coach trusts the players. However, in today's companies, employees are rarely trusted. In order to improve efficiency and security, video cameras are installed in offices. Customer conversations are listened to, and emails are checked. Employees are constantly under stress, and this is not conducive to productivity, loyalty, and a positive attitude. Without trust, there is no integrity. You trust your coworkers, and they trust you. You trust customers, and customers trust you. And it's completely natural for a culture of embrace. The following factors are important for building trust in a team. Predictability. Show by example how important it is to be honest, honor agreements, and keep promises. Trust is only possible if a person feels free in the team, rather than expecting unpleasant surprises. Expectations and standards instead of rules and laws. Laws and rules tend to be cold and inflexible, and they are not conducive to an atmosphere of trust. Don't demand strict adherence to rules. It is better to let your colleagues know your expectations. A world of your own with its own special culture. Dictatorship is no longer relevant. Let everyone in your world be free and responsible, motivated and inspired. And in that world, everyone will embrace each other. Transparency. Make your company transparent. Share personal and corporate goals, sales results, and other meaningful numbers with your coworkers. Break down walls and doors. Make a shared electronic calendar. No formal reports and meetings. Talk about successes. Praise those who have distinguished themselves. Decide together how to correct shortcomings and better organize work. No surveillance and surprise inspections. In a hugging culture, no one hides problems and mistakes, so there is no need for total control. Prompt resolution of conflicts. Conflicts between colleagues happen even in a hugging culture. They should not be ignored. Sit down at the negotiating table and find a way out that benefits all parties and strengthens professional and personal relationships. As a rule, when conflicting parties cannot contain their emotions, a mediator is needed to resolve the conflict constructively. This can be a supervisor or another employee who has the trust and respect of coworkers. Perspective. Sometimes family problems and other external difficulties lead to the fact that it is difficult for a person to focus on work. He stops seeing in it the meaning and perspective of development. To see perspective, you can perform the exercise Flight to the Moon. Find a quiet place, sit back and close your eyes. Imagine that you are preparing for a flight to the moon. Feel how you put on a spacesuit and helmet. Remember what color they are, what the spaceship looks like. Feel the ship taking off and you moving away from the Earth. Now you are on the moon and looking at the distant Earth. What do you see? What are the problems? What are the possibilities for solving them? What prospects in relationships, career and other areas of life? Seeing the world from the moon helps you come out of your shell and look at life from the outside. You can now see more realistically and evaluate everything that is going on in your life in a more unbiased way. Flying to the moon can be done alone, with a friend, or with a coworker. Pride. When people work in an atmosphere of courtesy and trust, they feel confident and comfortable. They feel that they are part of this unique culture and are proud of it. When asked, "What do you do?" a person who is proud of their company, their job, and their coworkers answers not "I'm an accountant" or I'm a salesperson but I'm an accountant at Factory O, or I'm a salesperson at Store B. One of the important tasks of a manager is to develop and maintain in employees a sense of pride in their work. This requires that the company has an inspiring mission. If a person is close to the values and goals of the company, he or she will feel that he or she is doing something important and useful working for this company. Jack Mitchell employees are proud to work for the clothing chain because beautiful and quality clothing not only makes people look better, but they also feel more positive and confident. The workplace was comfortable and aesthetically pleasing. You can't be proud of your work if there is water dripping from the ceiling, torn linoleum and trash on the floor, and a desk standing on 3 legs. Employees had access to effective, up-to-date technology. Technology makes life more diverse, easier and more interesting. You can maintain a smart customer base. Find information about sales and employees in one click. Simplify reporting and work from home. Employees had a variety of opportunities for training and development. A hub culture is a special learning environment that supports employee knowledge sharing and learning, both internally and externally. Learning contributes to employee and team success, as well as top-notch customer service. People feel at home at work. Have them bring their kids to work and have parties, and the workday is over. Maintaining pride can be done in many ways. Encourage philanthropy and concern for the environment. Organize social events, plant trees, clean up trash at the park or beach. Share the successes and achievements of the company and its employees. Talk about them at meetings. Send out an email. Post congratulations on a bulletin board. Support and encourage employees. Celebrate shared victories. Recognize individual achievements. And don't skimp on praise and applause. Engagement. The employee engagement process includes inviting participation. Try to find out who on your staff is knowledgeable about the issue you're interested in. Invite that person to discuss the issue. Emphasize that you are reaching out to them as an expert who understands the issue. You can ask for advice in person or by email. Contribution to the common cause. Everyone in the company can be helpful, and sometimes the contribution of a janitor can be more significant than that of a top manager. Address the person openly, if possible personally. Simply say, "I need your help," or "What do you think about this?" Always thank them for their participation and don't forget to let the person know how they help the company or you personally. Inclusion in the process. Make the people you invite and contribute to feel like equal participants in the process. Try to have roundtable meetings so it doesn't feel like someone is dominating. Socialize outside the office. Go to the theater or to a restaurant. Make lasagna or pizza with your colleagues. Engagement. Openness and honesty are necessary to keep employees interested in a decision or strategy. Be as detailed as possible about why the project you're working on is needed and how it will benefit the company and its employees. Also, people don't usually care about what management thinks they need to know. They are interested in what they themselves want to know. You know that Paul is studying Chinese. If you involve him in a new project with Chinese partners, he will be more interested in it than other employees. For Pavel, this project is not only an opportunity to prove himself, but also excellent language practice and the prospect of business trips to the country of the target language. Investment. Even if a person is not the owner of a company, he treats it as his own if he has invested his labor, knowledge, and time in its prosperity and development. Recognition. If the people who work with you, Jack Mitchell believes that the phrase working for someone is associated with slave labor are polite, trustworthy, engaged and proud of their work, they deserve recognition. And recognition is not only material. No amount of money can compensate for the negativity that comes from an arrogant boss and communication with unpleasant, impolite colleagues in an office that is in need of repair. When a person says, "I wouldn't work with him for $1 million," it's not a metaphor. He really means it. Expressing appreciation can be done in many ways. Naming an airplane after your best employee, starring salesperson of the year in a commercial, or hosting a dinner in honor of a distinguished colleague. However, in a hugging culture, a nice office, nice coworkers, and a polite boss must be accompanied by a decent salary. Low pay violates the previous four principles. It's hard to be nice and polite when you don't have enough money to pay your bills. It's hard to trust a boss who's just using you. Thinking about where to get money doesn't encourage engagement, and it's impossible to take pride in a job you're underpaid for. If you value your employees and want them to work for you for years to come, you should pay them not less, but even a little more than your competitors. And if things are going well in the company, employees should get bonuses. Paying bonuses to employees is nice, but be careful when launching new incentive programs. Consider whether you can keep them in the future. People are left with a bad feeling about being deprived of benefits and bonuses. Everyone is different, and you shouldn't try to give all employees the same hug. This applies to both cash payments and other expressions of appreciation. It is important that rewards are fair and everyone realizes that they are getting what they deserve. Everyone has hard times, illness and death of loved ones, divorce and alcohol problems. And a good manager always supports his employees in difficult life situations, morally and financially. Employee search. When hiring, the most important thing is that the employee fits the culture of the company. Someone who has knowledge and skills can be a good employee, but an excellent employee can only be someone who is close to the company's mission and whose goals are in line with the company's goals. 5 criteria for selecting employees. So, a great employee, or someone who has the potential to be a great employee, meets the following criteria. Integrity. The concept of integrity is much deeper than the inability to steal goods from the store, money from the cash register, or personal belongings of colleagues. Every candidate for a position at Mitchells, Richards, Marsh & Wilkes Bashford takes a special test that determines whether he or she has the courage not to hide problems and tell the truth in difficult situations, and how he or she treats criticism and praise. At the interview, he is asked such questions as in your previous jobs. Did you trust your boss and coworkers? Give 1 to 2 examples of how you showed trust. Did you share your difficulties and concerns with your coworkers? Tell us how you managed to cope with problems and doubts. Positive attitude to life. Positive people are easier and more pleasant to deal with. They do not pass over difficulties and never give up. If a candidate berates their previous workplace, boss and coworkers, they will most likely not be able to work in a positive environment and be friendly to customers and those who work alongside them. At Mitchells, Richards, Marsh & Wilkes Bashford only hire people who see their life as a glass more than half full, or better yet, 7/8 full. An inexhaustible desire to learn, listen, grow and be the best version of themselves every day. People who demonstrate a thirst for knowledge, who show a keen interest in everything that is going on around them, who are not afraid to ask questions and listen attentively to answers, are not just looking for a place to earn money. They are set up for long-term cooperation and a successful career. To find out how proactive and inquisitive a prospective employee is, during an interview at Mitchells, Richards, Marsh & Wilkes Bashford, they ask questions that are not directly related to the job. What books do you like to read? Name 5 of your favorite books and 1 to 2 business books that have influenced you. If a person willingly shares what they read, it shows that they are constantly and willingly learning. If a candidate says that he or she does not like to read, they start discussing with him or her the movies and TV shows he or she watches in order to understand how he or she uses the information received, whether it improves his or her life, whether he or she has new ideas and plans. Competence and self-confidence. Competence can be checked with the help of resumes and references from previous jobs, and how confident a person is can also be judged by their professional success. Has the candidate worked as a salesman? He could just be at the workplace, trying not to stand out and unnecessarily do not get in the eyes of customers and superiors, and could attract new regular customers, sincerely hugging everyone who comes into the store. Self-confidence is also visible during the interview. Does the candidate look you straight in the eye or look away? Does he or she show obvious nervousness? Undoubtedly, a job interview is stressful, but a confident candidate quickly pulls himself together, begins to talk enthusiastically about his professional successes and discoveries, and shares his career plans. Pleasantness in communication. Only polite and sincere people are able to hug clients in any weather and regardless of what is going on in their personal lives and the political situation in the country and the world. They maintain a hugging culture in the workplace as well. At the end of the interview, ask yourself if you enjoy talking to the candidate. Is he or she pleasant enough for you to spend long hours in neighboring seats? On a transatlantic flight, pleasant people are characterized by the following qualities: thoughtfulness, friendliness, an open smile, willingness to help, sincerity, and willingness to take responsibility. Multi-stage interview. When hiring a person for a job, you can't rely on the first impression a candidate makes on one employee. To avoid disappointment on both sides and not to resort to such an unpleasant procedure as a probationary period, you need to make sure that the candidate is suitable for you and conduct several interviews with him, with the direct supervisor and those who will work next to him. Optimally, if there will be 5 or 6 of them. If the company is not too big, it is useful to have the CEO present at least at one interview. This way the candidate can get a sense of how important he or she is to the company. The CEO can meet the candidate in person and introduce her to her colleagues. Interviews should be conducted in a comfortable environment, no bright lights, uncomfortable chairs, or stressful questions. It is important for the candidate to open up as much as possible. You can look for suitable candidates in the traditional way through advertisements and recruitment agencies, but the search will be much more effective and qualitative if you involve employees or clients. They have first-hand knowledge of your company culture and can suggest people they know who they think fit that culture. Many great employees have come to Mitchells, Richards, Marsh and Wilkes Bashford through acquaintance. Employees from other companies can be invited to join. When Jack Mitchell heard that Grossman's shoe store was about to close, he rushed there and hired some top salespeople. Dismissal. When is it necessary to part ways with an employee? Firing people is difficult. However, if a person's behavior is unacceptable to those around him or her, he or she must leave. Here are the instances when termination is necessary. Theft. If a person steals money and things or cheats the company in other ways, he should not only be fired, but also write a police report, otherwise other people will suffer. Inappropriate communication with coworkers, vendors, or customers and disregard for company culture. Incompetence. Even multiple interviews do not provide a 100% guarantee that a candidate will be an effective employee. Unwillingness to change. Sometimes good employees lose motivation, and some don't want to work in new ways, such as using technology. Reaching retirement age is not a reason to quit. Some retirees are much more active and competent than younger colleagues. The return of prodigal colleagues. Sometimes good employees leave, someone starts his own business, someone moves, and someone wants to change the sphere of activity. With everyone you need to part friends and be sure to hug them goodbye. For example, throw a party. The only exceptions are cases of breaking the law and when a person himself does not want to say goodbye in a kind way he scandals or hands over documents or client base of the company to competitors. Sometimes those who have left come back after some time. You can hire former colleagues if they left for personal or professional reasons and did not hide anything from you. They didn't leave to join a competitor. They were valued employees of your company. They follow the 5 principles, the hugging culture. Conclusion. Good employees are smart, knowledgeable, and educated. But great employees embrace customers, partners, and coworkers. They follow the 5 principles, the hugging culture. They are courtesy, trust, pride, engagement, and recognition. When selecting employees, you need to think about the fact that you'll be working together for years to come. It's better to give a candidate a few interviews and inundate them with questions than to closely monitor their every move during their probationary period. A candidate has a chance to be an outstanding employee if he or she is decent, positive, eager to listen, learn and grow, competent and confident, and pleasant to be around. Employees should be fired only in extreme cases if they steal and cheat, behave inappropriately and disregard the company culture, demonstrate incompetence and do not want to change. Former employees can be rehired if they left not for competitors, but for personal and professional reasons that were not hidden, were valuable employees of your company and supported a culture of embrace. Thank you all for listening to the end. If you liked it, don't forget to rate and subscribe to the channel. You can buy the full version of the book at the link in the description.